Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to take a look at 2017 American thriller film called Game of Death. Spoilers ahead! The movie shoots off with a video of a girl calling her brother to come over so Ashley can enjoy him. The scene then flips to a room filled with savage stuff like a gun and swords, and we see a guy pleasuring himself. After he's done, he replies for Ashley that he's coming soon. In the meantime, we witness Ashley playing catch with another girl. As she jokes about marrying Kenny and killing Beth, everyone laughs as if it's nothing. The camera then shows us another girl named Mary Ann, who's Kenny's girlfriend. As they're joking around, Ashley's boyfriend, Matt, arrives and gives her a kiss. Meanwhile, another person named Tyler enters the scene, who's their drug supplier. Later, Matt and Kenny go to play rock, paper, scissors, in which Kenny loses and states that Matt is now on his kill list. In the meantime, Ashley jokes about Tom being in love with his sister. We then witness Tom coming up the creek and teaching Beth how to shoot a rifle. Afterwards, Beth encounters a creepy old man who harasses her with sexual signs. Later, the scene shifts to Matt and Ashley, who indulge in romance, while the rest of their friends spin a bottle, and Beth's brother states that wherever it lands, that fellow must give a lap dance to the person of their choosing. As Ashley drowns in pleasure and passion, the bottle spins towards Beth as we see her prepping for the lap dance. As Matt manages to make Ashley flood in ecstasy, Beth crawls her way towards her brother while Mary Ann and Kenny watch in confusion. She inches towards her brother and caresses him. Meanwhile, the camera pans to a board game called The Game of Death. The octagonal board game is then brought out, and Matt reads the headliner that this game is about choice and one has to die, while this game will also blow their minds. Everyone gets excited to play it, but Tyler disagrees at first. But eventually, all of them put their fingers on the skulls, and Matt reads the instructions. It is stated that after starting the game, a countdown will start and the number of kills will appear on the screen that will need to be executed. Ashley pushes the start button, but suddenly her finger gets pinched and the game takes their blood. Tyler instantly gets up in fury, and we see their blood slowly flowing through the channels towards the central console. And after a few numbers pop up, they stop at 24 and a countdown starts. Tyler starts hollering that the game is an STD dispenser and proceeds to wash his hands, while Beth reads that in order to end this game, they have to kill the number of people mentioned on the screen. If not, the players themselves will be executed by the game and there's no way to quit it or otherwise. But as nothing happens, they proceed to play beer pong. On the edge of the pool, Ashley successfully chugs down, but when Kenny forces the beer down Matt's throat, he can't take it. His friends start making fun of him, but his situation starts to get bad and his head starts to ache. As things get serious, his face swells up and eventually bursts into shreds. Ashley, Kenny, and Mary Ann get splattered with his blood and everyone loses their minds. Tyler instantly beckons everyone to get inside. Meanwhile, the game's screen displays 1 down and 23 left, while Beth and her brother find it extremely weird. In the meantime, their friends reach inside crying and shrieking while Tyler explains that someone shot Matt. Ashley tries to crawl outside to her boyfriend, but Kenny drags her back. Mary Ann immediately calls the police, giving them the address of 55 Riverside, while Ashley cries in agony and shock. Tyler insists that someone shot him, but as Beth and her brother Tom take a look outside, they find nobody. Back inside, they state that no one's there, but Tyler affirms that he heard the gunshot. Just in that moment, there's a knock on the door. Tom slowly takes out his gun and goes to check, where he finds that old creepy man from outside. He drags him inside on gunpoint, where Beth confirms that he is the creep who stared at her. Tom pins him to the floor, blaming him for Matt's murder. The old guy pleads that he's not the one, but Tom keeps him under the gun's nose. Just then, Kenny's head starts to swell up, and as Tyler gets close to his buddy, Kenny's face blows away and everyone is showered with his remains. Horror suddenly strikes them, and Todd suddenly hears the board game mentioning 1 down. As they conclude that it's the game, Tyler gets up in frustration and tries to break the game board, but instead his own baseball bat breaks in half. Alas, with no other choice left, Tom decides to kill the old man. Everyone calls him insane and pleads him to stop, but eventually he lands a bullet in the old man's face. Under extreme distress, they escape the house. As a wildlife manatee documentary plays on the TV, we see the house littered with dead bodies while all the friends escape away in Tyler's pizza car. 5 of them sit in a trance while the game now shows 21 left on its display. As they move on, Tom casually mentions all they have to do is kill 21 people. Ashley condemns him for his insanity while Mary Ann starts to get hysterical and requests to stop the car so she can leave. But they carry on. After a passage of time, they suddenly come across a jogger. He slaps the hood and calls out angrily, upon which Tom orders Tyler to hit him. He looks at Tom as if he's a madman, but Tom puts the gun to his temple and orders him to run him over. Everyone tries to stop him, but he threatens that there's no other choice. Nevertheless, Tyler hits him and then reverses the car on him until the tires can be heard slithering on the flesh. They finally get out to see the guy cut in half but still alive. All of them surround him, and Tom finally puts him out of his misery by bashing his head in. As Mary Ann is crying inside, the game on her lap counts down to 20. Just in that moment, another woman comes across their path. Upon looking at the gruesome act, she runs away and Tom starts shooting at her. She manages to run in the fields, but the bullets pierce her legs and eventually Tom and Beth appear on her head. He tries to hand the gun to Beth so she can kill her, but she can't, so Tom finally takes another shot and murders the woman. Back in the car, the countdown comes to 19. The scene then flips to a forest cabin where a forest ranger pampers her dog, Winston. She gives him food and treats and places a walkie-talkie beside him while preparing to leave. On the other hand, Tyler and Ashley discuss that they're not murderers and they somehow need to contain this. Just then, the forest ranger is singing in her car and drives it to come across the guys in the middle of the road. She gradually gets out and asks them if they're okay. Ashley makes up a story about hitting a deer, but the ranger keeps on talking and they can't manage to leave. Tyler tells her that it's her car, and the ranger starts singing about Pizza Hut and proceeds to talk about Winston. After a while, they get some space for her, but she returns and tells them about how good her fudge is and it'll blow their minds. Suddenly, Mary Ann's head rips apart in the car and the ranger hoists her shotgun. Tom immediately takes Ashley hostage and uses her as leverage to get away. The ranger immediately calls for backup while we witness Mary Ann's corpse still in the car. As they drive away, Tom tells her that she can kill him if she wants, upon which Beth refuses to listen to his stupid statement. Meanwhile, back at the road, Tyler's face starts to swell up, and as the ranger calls for an ambulance, Ashley watches the whole scene from a distance. Eventually, she grabs a crowbar and lands multiple blows on someone. In the car, the game now displays number 17, and the movie flips to the road where we see the ranger is dead and Tyler is fine. Ashley stands in a trance and concludes that they cannot escape it and the only way for them is to die. Now with a mission to stop their friends, they grab the SUV and drive away. Now the movie shows us side-by-side scenes in both the cars where Beth and Tom discuss whether the ranger was killed or not, and Tyler tries to get his car traced and located. Meanwhile, Tom discusses that his asthma is suffering and might as well put an end to it, upon which Beth states that everyone suffers. Suddenly an idea sparks in their mind, and Tom states that some people want to end their pain. In the meantime, Tyler suddenly gets a location and he's absolutely astounded. The scene then shifts to the car entering a care center. Inside, the camera pans through the corridors where different patients are being treated. The scene shows us a small girl who's taking her medications while the nurse assures her that she'll be okay very soon and won't need them anymore. Meanwhile, Beth and Tom stand at the horizon in a complete trance. As they face each other, they finally proceed to kiss one another and their passion exceeds normality. Upon finishing, they decide to end the game and walk inside to kill all the old patients. They go from room to room and murder innocent people in cold blood. The movie turns comical and we see the countdown come to 3. The scene then shows us Tyler and Ashley standing inside the hallway observing the massacre. They make their way through the corridors and reach the CCTV area where Ashley orders the nurse to call for police while they go back and look for their friends. In the meantime, we see the little girl walking through the hallways with her drip until she comes face to face with Beth. The girl, named Samantha, asks for Beth's name, and as they talk, Beth requests her to close her eyes and count to 10. As the little girl counts, Beth puts up her gun and points it at her head, but just at that time, Tyler and Ashley come from behind and save the little girl. Ashley requests Beth to spare the little girl and kill her instead. As Beth lowers her gun, Ashley fires the shotgun swiftly, and the bullet ends up smashing through Beth's brain. We then witness a recording where Ashley and Beth joke together. In real time, police enter the care center and search the hallway while Ashley takes Samantha and hides in a side room. Just in that moment, Tom comes across Beth's corpse on the floor and starts crying miserably at her death. As he keeps on grieving, Tyler and Ashley emerge from the room and Tyler fights with Tom. As Ashley watches in a trance, Tyler manages to overcome his contender and plunges his thumbs into Tom's throat. He starts sprouting out blood and eventually dies. Tyler gets up and the countdown now comes to 1. Ashley observes Tyler from a distance, and in her daze, she starts to talk about how insignificant they are. We don't even know our purpose and everyone we love is dead. Furthermore, she states that the only real way to win is to die, but until death arrives, we have a choice. As she ends those words, Ashley lifts up the rifle and shoots at Tyler. 3 bullets pierce his body and he staggers against the wall until he drops down and his soul leaves the body. The countdown now shows 0 left and a "you win" sign. Afterwards, a card pops out of the game stating "Player 5, you win." As Ashley picks up the reward, the police suddenly raid the hall and amidst the smoke, she drops the card and falls to the ground helplessly. Meanwhile, the police approach the death scene. The scene then shifts to a police station where a guy, cladded as a Santa Claus, is handing out Christmas gifts to the policemen. A woman named Officer Smith receives a tackle box as evidence number 342 from the Riverside murder scene. Another officer named Gramptons gets up, remarking that he remembers that night. Upon which Santa presents him with an octagonal box, and as Grampton opens it, it's the game of death with stains of blood still on it. The movie then concludes as the officer observes it in amusement and asks around who's up for a play. Drop a comment below letting me know how you found the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Thanks for watching, guys!